I've been told repeatedly over the years that change takes time. Change takes time. Now, having been part of this human species for 40 years, I can agree to a very small extent that yes, change does take time. But, and this is a very big but, if change takes so much time, well, no, let me rephrase that. Because from my view, especially given the election of our new president, it didn't take time for hundreds of thousands of people nationwide to organize themselves and take to the streets. That happened damn near overnight. Now, my question then becomes, if hundreds of thousands of people can organize themselves practically overnight and take to the streets to protest the election of a new president, how in the hell is it taking these same people so much time to organize themselves and simply get out there and start building and enacting the actual positive changes that are needed in our society? That doesn't make any goddamn sense to me. So you're telling me it doesn't take time for people to organize themselves and riot over their disagreement about our new president, but it takes them years to organize, take to the streets, and refurbish abandoned structures for homeless. It takes people time to organize, take to the streets, and start integrating the much needed self-sufficient systems of living that will greatly reduce the cost of living. So let me get this straight. It doesn't take time to organize hundreds of thousands of people nationwide to take to the streets and riot over a new president, but it takes them months, years to organize themselves and take to the streets to actually do positive things. Does anyone else out there see the contradiction? I mean, I can't be the only one who can now see the obvious bullshit that continues to go on with our species. People can get up in arms in the blink of an eye over something they don't like. And I thought people didn't like homelessness. I thought people didn't like not having enough money to put food on their table and pay their overbloated bills. But yet, these same people who organized themselves pretty much overnight to riot and protest over the election of a new president can't do the same when it comes to actual positive change. To me, there's something seriously wrong with that picture. Just think about that for a second. Just take a couple of seconds to think about what I just said. People can organize, hundreds of thousands of people can organize themselves practically overnight to take to the streets and riot over the election of a new president, but they cannot do the same to enact actual positive changes in our society. I'm just going to leave it on that note because Nothing more really needs to be said. The one thing I do know as an individual, as a father, is that my species needs to get their heads out of their asses. Once again, you may get tired of hearing me repeat the same things, as do I, but the fact remains that it's easier for my species to organize themselves once again practically overnight, to riot over some dumb shit, but they cannot do the same to enact actual progressive and positive change. There's something wrong with that. Meaning, there's something wrong with the people. And after 40 years of interacting with, living in, and engaging with a species that is obviously insane, obviously mentally unbalanced, I find it more and more difficult as the days progress to continue my interaction with a species so obviously insane, which is exactly what my species is: insane, mentally unbalanced, unstable. And that's easily seen by the actions or non-action of the society I was so privileged to be born into.